I know you're a good person, but it's important to understand that not everyone is like you. Our hearts want to believe there's a solution for the world. We have hope in people, but if we're not careful, we can get hurt. Unfortunately, there are many malicious people, and occasionally they will cross our paths. Pay attention to the signs and stay away from such people. You've probably met someone who is genuinely cruel, who hurts others' feelings without remorse and takes advantage of others' weaknesses. Sometimes these behaviors are so subtle that we don't even realize we're dealing with a bad person. Let's talk about the signs indicating you're dealing with someone like that. Some people will always try to make you feel guilty about a situation or pretend to like you in your presence, but speak badly about you behind your back. It's important to be prepared, because sometimes outsiders will try to disturb your peace, but other times it will be people from your own family. Family is a blessing from God, of that I have no doubt, but unfortunately, some people tend strongly towards a bad version of themselves. In today's video, I'll show you 9 signs, or rather 10 signs, that you're dealing with a bad person and what you should do when these people cross your path. Before the first sign, make sure you've hit the like button if you're someone who loves learning about life wisdom. If possible, write this: people want to see you well, but never better than them. This is pure truth. Let's go with the first sign. Number 1, pleasure in others' pain. Evil people feel pleasure when seeing others suffer. If you know someone who seems to rejoice in others' pain, like laughing or smiling when seeing someone going through a difficult time, that's a clear sign you're dealing with a bad person. This behavior shows a total lack of empathy and can lead to harmful situations created by them for their own pleasure. Imagine a co-worker who, instead of offering help when you're overwhelmed, laughs at your difficulties. Or a friend who, upon hearing about your personal problem, makes jokes instead of offering support. These attitudes are not only insensitive, but reveal a cruel character. Such people may even deliberately provoke bad situations for others, just to have the pleasure of seeing someone suffer. They can also spread gossip and create conflicts, all to see people's reactions and enjoy the chaos they've caused. It's important to recognize these signs early and distance yourself from those who exhibit this type of behavior to protect your own emotional health and well-being. Number 2. Need to control your life. Evil people are extremely controlling. They feel uncomfortable and powerless if they don't control every aspect of their lives and the lives of those around them. They will do everything possible to ensure things happen according to their wishes and will abuse power if they don't encounter resistance. Think of that boss who insists on reviewing every little detail of your work, not because they want to help, but because they need to have total control. Or that friend who always decides where you go, what you do, and with whom, without considering others' opinions. These attitudes show an obsession with control that can be suffocating. These people can also manipulate situations to maintain control, creating rigid rules or using emotional blackmail. A classic example is a partner who constantly monitors where you are and who you're talking to, not out of concern, but out of a need to dominate your life. This need for control is not only irritating, but can be dangerous. Such people often use their power to exploit and abuse others. Recognizing these behaviors and setting clear boundaries is essential to protect your independence and emotional well-being. If you notice someone trying to control every aspect of your life, it's important to take steps to distance yourself and regain your autonomy. Number 3. Strange feeling when you're around them. One of the clearest signs you're dealing with a bad person is feeling strange around them. You might feel tired, restless, or simply uncomfortable in their presence. This could be your natural instinct warning you that something is wrong. Imagine being at a family gathering where everyone is having fun, But there's one person who always makes you feel tense and uncomfortable whenever they're around. Even if that person isn't doing anything directly to you, their mere presence is enough to generate a feeling of discomfort. This could indicate that the person has negative energy or malicious intentions. Another example is a coworker who makes you feel anxious or exhausted every time they approach you. You might not be able to pinpoint exactly what's wrong, but your body and mind seem to recognize that something is off. These sensations shouldn't be ignored. Our instincts often pick up on signals that our conscious mind may not perceive. If you constantly feel uncomfortable in someone's presence, this is a warning that the person may not have good intentions. Paying attention to these feelings and giving them importance can help you avoid harmful situations and maintain your inner peace. Number 4. Lack of responsibility. Evil people never take responsibility for their actions. They always blame others when something goes wrong and like to play the victim. They don't acknowledge their mistakes and make you apologize for them. Imagine a coworker who makes a mistake on an important project. Instead of admitting the fault, they quickly point the finger at you or someone else on the team, saying the blame is on everyone but them. This not only creates a toxic work environment, but also makes you feel unfairly blamed. Another example is a friend who constantly gets into trouble and, instead of accepting that their choices led to those situations, always blames others. If they're late for an appointment, it's the traffic or someone else who made them late. If something goes wrong in their life, they never look at their own actions, but always find a way to blame others and play the victim. These people are also experts at making you feel guilty for their mistakes. They manipulate situations so that you end up apologizing for something that isn't even your responsibility. This is emotionally draining and can erode your self-esteem over time. Recognizing these behaviors is crucial to maintaining your mental and emotional health. People who never take responsibility for their actions can drag you into a cycle of guilt and manipulation. Learning to identify and distance yourself from these people is essential to preserving your well-being. Number 5. Habit of lying. Evil people have the terrible habit of lying constantly. They lie for their benefit and often lie just for fun or to manipulate others. They don't value your trust or friendship, prioritizing only their own interests. Imagine a coworker who always makes up stories about their achievements at work, exaggerating or even fabricating facts to stand out. Or that friend who says they couldn't attend your event because they were sick, but you find out they were somewhere else having fun. These lies are not only dishonest, but show a total lack of respect for you and others. Liars frequently use their lies to manipulate situations and people. For example, a partner who lies about their feelings or intentions to keep you under control or gain an advantage in an argument. They can also invent gossip or spread misinformation to cause conflicts among friends or colleagues, all for fun or to benefit in some way. These lies may be small and seemingly harmless at first, but over time they erode trust and harm relationships. If someone lies repeatedly, even about trivial things, it's a clear sign that the person doesn't respect you and is willing to sacrifice your trust to gain something. Recognizing and confronting these lies is essential to maintaining healthy relationships. If you realize someone has a constant habit of lying, it's important to assess the impact of that person on your life and consider if it's possible to maintain a trustworthy relationship with them. Honesty is the foundation of any solid relationship, and people who lie constantly cannot offer that foundation. Number 6. Absence of remorse. Evil people don't feel remorse for their actions. They never feel guilty about the negative impact they have on others. When confronted, they manipulate the situation to make you doubt your perception of reality. Imagine a colleague taking credit for your work, and when you confront them, they show no regret. Instead, they try to justify their actions by saying you wouldn't have achieved it alone, or they were just helping you shine. This kind of behavior shows a total lack of empathy and remorse, revealing a deeply selfish and manipulative character. Another example is a friend who constantly makes malicious or hurtful comments. When you try to talk about how those comments affect you, they laugh and say you're overreacting or even suggest you're too sensitive. This behavior not only shows a lack of remorse, but also attempts to distort your perception of reality, making you question your feelings. These people are masters at turning the situation around. If you point out a mistake or harmful behavior, they quickly become the victims, making you feel wrong for bringing up the issue. This emotional manipulation is a clear sign that the person has no true remorse for what they do and is more concerned with protecting their image. Recognizing the absence of remorse is crucial to protecting your emotional health. People who don't feel guilt for hurting others can continue repeating these harmful behaviors, knowing there will be no real consequences for them. Identifying this trait and setting clear boundaries is essential to protect yourself and maintain healthy relationships. If someone repeatedly shows a lack of remorse, it's important to consider distancing yourself from that person to preserve your well-being. Number 7. Cruelty. Some evil people prefer to act openly and cruelly. They can be aggressive, hurting others with words or actions, and delight in others' suffering. The lack of empathy and the ability to intentionally inflict pain are distinctive characteristics of this type of person. Think of a coworker who doesn't hesitate to make malicious or humiliating comments in front of others. They may point out your faults cruelly or ridicule your ideas during meetings, not to offer constructive criticism, but to demoralize you. This behavior not only destroys the group's morale, but also creates a toxic and oppressive work environment. Another example is a friend who makes jokes about your insecurities or personal problems, knowing it hurts you. They may mock you for something you shared in confidence, and upon seeing your reaction, seem to enjoy your suffering. This lack of empathy and pleasure in others' pain are clear signs of a cruel person. These people can also act aggressively, both verbally and physically. A partner who regularly insults you or physically abuses you is demonstrating open cruelty. The intention behind these actions is to hurt and control, showing a total disregard for others' dignity and well-being. Recognizing cruelty in someone is essential to protect your emotional and physical integrity. People who are openly cruel have no consideration for others' feelings and can cause deep and lasting harm. Setting boundaries and distancing yourself from these people is crucial to ensure your safety and peace of mind. If you're facing cruelty, don't hesitate to seek support and take steps to protect yourself. Number 8. Friends and family warnings about the bad person's character. If your friends and family are warning you about someone's character, it's important to take these warnings seriously. They may have witnessed toxic and harmful behaviors in the past. Don't ignore these signs, as what happened to them could happen to you if you're not careful. Imagine you start dating someone new, and soon your closest friends and family express concern. They mention that this person has a history of manipulation and disrespect in previous relationships. It can be difficult to accept these criticisms, especially if you're emotionally involved, but it's crucial to listen to these concerns carefully. Another example is when you start a new job, and your colleagues quickly warn you about a specific supervisor. They tell stories of how this supervisor frequently takes out frustration on subordinates, creating a tense and demotivating work environment, and never takes responsibility for their mistakes. These stories are not just gossip, but warnings based on real experiences that can save you from painful situations. These warnings from people close to you are valuable because they come from an external and impartial perspective. Your friends and family want the best for you and have nothing to gain by deceiving you. If several people are warning you about the same person, it's a strong sign you should be cautious. It's easy to ignore or minimize these warnings, especially if the person in question is treating you well at the moment. However, recognizing and considering these concerns can save you a lot of trouble in the future. If someone repeatedly exhibits toxic and harmful behaviors, it's likely these behaviors will repeat with you. Take these warnings seriously and carefully observe the person's behavior. If you notice signs of manipulation, cruelty, or lack of responsibility, consider distancing yourself before it becomes too difficult. Your friends and family may see red flags that you, in the midst of the situation, may not perceive. Trust them and protect yourself from potential harm. Number 9. Contempt. One of the worst forms of emotional manipulation by a bad person is contempt. These people make you feel inferior, criticizing your appearance, interests, dreams, and anything else they can. Do not let these people change your perception of yourself. Imagine a partner who constantly criticizes your appearance, pointing out your physical flaws as if they were unforgivable faults. They might say things like, "You could be more attractive if," or "Why don't you dress better?" These comments are not constructive. They are cruel and designed to undermine your self-confidence. Another example is a friend who mocks your interests and passions, belittling your achievements and dreams as if they were not worthy of respect. They may laugh at your ambitions or interests, making you feel foolish for pursuing your goals. This type of contempt not only hurts, but also makes you doubt yourself and your abilities. These people use contempt as a tool of emotional control, weakening your self-esteem so that you depend on them for validation and acceptance. They want to shape your self-perception according to their own interests and desires, without respecting who you really are. Do not let these people manipulate your self-image. You are valuable and deserve to be treated with respect and consideration. If someone is constantly belittling you, it's a clear sign that the person is not interested in your emotional well-being. Protect yourself by keeping your distance from those who constantly try to diminish you, and seek relationships that promote your growth and happiness. Number 10. Animal abuse. Animal abuse is a clear sign of a bad person. Cruelty towards animals can indicate deeper problems in someone's character. If you know someone who acts abusively or neglectfully towards animals, consider distancing yourself from that person. Imagine a neighbor who frequently abuses their dog, yelling at and hitting it for any reason. These actions not only cause suffering to the animal, but also reveal a lack of empathy and emotional control by the abuser. This abusive behavior can extend to other areas of that person's life. Another example is someone who keeps their animals in deplorable living conditions without proper care for food, hygiene, or health. Constant neglect shows a complete disregard for the life and well-being of the animals under their care. These actions should not be ignored. Studies show that cruelty towards animals is often linked to violent behaviors against humans as well. It's important to recognize these signs and consider the impact of being around someone with these traits. While it may be difficult to realize when we're blinded by friendship, love, or respect for someone, it's essential to prioritize the safety and well-being of the animals and ourselves. If you suspect someone is being cruel to animals, consider distancing yourself and, if possible, report the behavior to the appropriate authorities to protect the animals and prevent future harm. If you know other signs of a bad person that haven't been mentioned here, put them in the comments. I'd love to read your opinion. If you've made it to the end, write in the comments, "Good always triumphs over evil." If you found these insights valuable, make sure to hit the like button and also subscribe for more wisdom. Let's all be wiser today. Think about it. You could be sharing moments, trusting someone, only to discover they are the very source of your turmoil. Today, we dive deep into a topic that's as fascinating as it is frightening, recognizing the signs you're dealing with an evil person. Whether it's a colleague, a friend, or even a family member, these individuals can be masters of deception, hiding their true nature behind charm and charisma. Today, we're not just exploring this dark side of human behavior out of curiosity. Understanding these signs can be life-changing. The Zen's teachings believed in the power of perception and the importance of living a life guided by reason and virtue. By identifying and understanding these toxic traits, we can protect our peace of mind and cultivate healthier relationships, staying true to the Zen principles of wisdom and self-control. Stay with us as we uncover 5 telltale signs of an evil person. By the end of this video, you'll not only be better equipped to spot these behaviors, but also learn practical ways to safeguard your mental health and well-being. And if you love wisdom teachings, a simple free favor I'll ask from you is to hit the like button. And also, don't skip any part of this discussion. You won't want to miss our special bonus section where I'll share an effective strategy for setting firm boundaries with these individuals. Let's embark on this journey of self-awareness and resilience together. When we talk about people who seem charming and charismatic at first, it's important to remember that appearances can be deceiving. These individuals often have a way of lighting up a room, making everyone around them feel special and valued. They know exactly what to say to make you feel like you've just made a new best friend. At first glance, they seem like the perfect person, witty, engaging, and seemingly interested in your life. It's easy to get swept up in their charm, thinking you found someone truly special. However, Buddhism teaches us to look beyond the surface and seek the truth through rational thought and observation. Over time, you might start to notice little cracks in their facade. Maybe they always need to be the center of attention, overshadowing others in social settings. They might talk over you, interrupt you, or even subtly put you down in front of others. These aren't just quirks or signs of an extroverted personality. They're red flags. The Zen's wisdom would advise us to observe these behaviors with a clear mind, unclouded by the initial excitement of their charisma. Imagine being at a party where this person is the life of the event, telling jokes and captivating the crowd. At first, it feels great to be in their orbit, but as the evening progresses, you realize they're dominating every conversation, making everything about themselves. When you try to share something about your life, they quickly redirect the topic back to them. This is where the principle of apatheia, a state of being undisturbed by external things, comes in handy. By staying emotionally balanced, you can see through their charming act and recognize the self-centered nature underneath. It's also crucial to pay attention to how they react when things don't go their way. A person who is genuinely kind and caring will handle disappointments and disagreements with grace and understanding. But someone who is merely playing a role to gain your trust might quickly become angry or defensive. They might lash out or try to manipulate the situation to regain control. According to Zen's wisdom, such reactions are clear indicators of a lack of virtuous character. Be wary of those who display signs of anger and manipulation, as these are not the traits of a rational and virtuous person. The key here is to take your time and trust your instincts. The Zen wisdom believed in the power of observation and the importance of not rushing to judgment based on first impressions. We should carefully evaluate the character of those we allow into our inner circle. So if someone seems too good to be true, give yourself the space to observe their actions over time. Notice how they treat others, especially when they think no one is watching. True character is revealed in how a person behaves when they aren't trying to impress anyone. Remember, not everyone who seems charming and charismatic has good intentions. Some people use their charm as a tool for manipulation. By staying grounded and mindful, you can protect yourself from being taken in by a superficial facade. Stay true to the Zen principles of wisdom and discernment, and you'll be better equipped to navigate these complex social interactions. Another crucial sign to watch out for is a lack of empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. It's what allows us to connect deeply with those around us, to offer support when it's needed, and to create meaningful relationships. However, there are individuals out there who seem to completely lack this essential human trait. They don't care about how their actions or words affect others, and this can have a devastating impact on those around them. The Zen's wisdom believed in the importance of compassion and understanding as fundamental virtues. The Zen spoke about the interconnectedness of humanity and the need to consider the well-being of others as part of our own well-being. So, when we encounter someone who shows a blatant disregard for the feelings of others, it's a serious red flag. Imagine you're sharing something deeply personal with a friend, hoping for some comfort or understanding. Instead of showing any genuine concern, they brush off your feelings or even mock your vulnerability. This lack of empathy can make you feel isolated and misunderstood. It's not just about them not being there for you in tough times. It's also about them failing to share in your joy or celebrate your successes. A person who lacks empathy won't cheer for your achievements. They might even undermine them or take credit themselves. This behavior is not just limited to personal relationships. Consider a boss who pushes their employees to the brink, showing no concern for their well-being. They might demand long hours without fair compensation, ignore requests for time off, or publicly criticize employees in a way that's meant to humiliate rather than constructively guide. This creates a toxic work environment where people feel undervalued and stressed. The Zens would advise us to maintain our inner peace and integrity in such situations, recognizing that the lack of empathy in others is a reflection of their character, not ours. Furthermore, a lack of empathy can lead to more sinister behaviors. People who cannot empathize with others may engage in actions that are outright cruel or without any sense of guilt or remorse. They might lie, cheat, or even inflict physical harm without a second thought about the pain they're causing. The Zen's philosopher emphasized the importance of kindness and justice, teaching that our actions should always reflect our inner virtue. When someone lacks empathy, they're fundamentally disconnected from these values. A lack of empathy is also evident in smaller, everyday interactions. For example, you might notice that someone constantly interrupts conversations to talk about themselves, shows little interest in what others have to say, or fails to offer help when it's clearly needed. These might seem like minor annoyances at first, but they add up to a pattern of behavior that reveals a deeper issue. The Zen's teachings remind us to be observant and discerning, understanding that these small signs are indicative of a person's true character. If you find yourself dealing with someone who consistently lacks empathy, it's important to set boundaries to protect your own mental and emotional health. You have the right to distance yourself from those who drain your energy and bring you down. Another major sign of an evil person is manipulation. Manipulation is when someone uses deceit or cunning tactics to control or influence others to get what they want. It's a subtle, often insidious behavior that can be incredibly damaging to those on the receiving end. Manipulators are skilled at twisting situations, making you question your reality and bending your will to suit their needs. This can leave you feeling confused, powerless, and unsure of your own judgments. Let's think about manipulation from a Zen's perspective. The Zens valued clarity of thought and the ability to see things as they truly are. They taught that our perceptions should be grounded in reality, and that we should remain steadfast in our principles, no matter the external pressures. When someone manipulates you, they are attempting to cloud your perception and distort reality, making it difficult for you to stay true to these Zen's practice. A common form of manipulation is gaslighting, where the manipulator tries to make you doubt your own memory, perception, or sanity. They might deny that certain events happened, or they might twist your words and actions to make you feel at fault. For example, let's say you confront a friend about something hurtful they said. Instead of acknowledging it, they might turn the tables, accusing you of being overly sensitive or misremembering the situation. This can erode your confidence and make you reliant on the manipulator's version of reality. Manipulators are also adept at playing the victim. They might guilt-trip you into doing things you don't want to do by making you feel responsible for their happiness or well-being. You might have a friend who constantly complains about their problems, expecting you to drop everything to help them, yet they are never there for you in return. They might say things like, "If you were really my friend, you'd do this for me," making you feel obligated to comply. The Zens emphasize the importance of understanding what is within our control and what is not. We cannot control others' actions or emotions, only our response to them. Consider how a manipulator might use flattery or charm to get their way. At first, this can feel great. They might shower you with compliments and make you feel special. But over time, you might notice that their praise comes with strings attached. They might compliment you when they want something from you or when they need you to do something for them. This can make you feel like you owe them or that you need to live up to their expectations to maintain their approval. The Zens would remind us that true virtue and self-worth come from within, not from the fleeting approval of others. Manipulation can also take the form of isolation. A manipulative person might try to cut you off from your friends and family, making you more dependent on them. They might say things like, "Your friends don't really care about you," or "Your family doesn't understand you like I do." This tactic makes it easier for them to control you because you become more reliant on them for support and validation. The Zens believed in maintaining strong, supportive relationships with others, recognizing that we are social beings who thrive in community. Isolation goes against these principles as it weakens our support network and makes us more vulnerable to manipulation. Financial manipulation is another tactic used by evil people. They might borrow money and never repay it, or they might control your finances to limit your independence. For instance, a 6 and assess the situation objectively. Are they consistently prioritizing their needs over yours? Do they make you feel guilty or unsure of yourself? Are they trying to control aspects of your life or isolate you from others? It's important to set firm boundaries with manipulators and stand your ground. Communicate clearly and assertively about what you will and will not tolerate. Remember, you have the right to your own thoughts, feelings, and actions. The Zen's teachings reminds us that while we cannot control how others behave, we can control how we respond. By maintaining our inner strength and clarity, we can protect ourselves from the harmful effects of manipulation and stay true to our values. One of the most glaring signs of an evil person is controlling behavior. This goes beyond mere preferences or quirks. It's about someone who seeks to dominate every aspect of your life, leaving little room for your own autonomy and decisions. Controlling individuals often disguise their behavior as concern or care, but underneath, it's about power and control. The Zens who valued personal freedom and self-control would see this behavior as fundamentally opposed to living a virtuous life. Controlling behavior can manifest in many ways. For instance, you might have a friend who insists on always choosing where you go and what you do together. While it might seem harmless at first, Over time, you start to realize that your preferences and opinions are consistently ignored or overwritten. They might say things like, "I know what's best for us," or "You'll have more fun if you just listen to me." This isn't about mutual decision-making. It's about one person exerting their will over another. In relationships, controlling behavior can become even more dangerous. A partner might monitor your whereabouts, demand constant updates on your activities, and even dictate who you can and cannot see. They might go through your phone, check your messages, or insist on knowing all your passwords. This kind of surveillance and micromanagement can make you feel trapped and anxious, constantly walking on eggshells to avoid conflict. The Zens emphasize the importance of maintaining your own inner freedom and autonomy regardless of external pressures. Control can also come in the form of financial manipulation. A controlling partner or family member might take charge of all financial decisions, doling out money as they see fit and keeping you financially dependent on them. They might say, "I handle the money because you're not good with finances," or "It's easier if I just take care of everything." This can strip you of your financial independence and make it difficult to leave the relationship or assert your own choices. The Zens believed in self-sufficiency and managing your own resources wisely, viewing financial control as a form of enslavement that must be resisted. Another way controlling behavior shows up is through isolation. A controlling person might try to cut you off from friends and family, claiming that they're the only one who truly understands or cares about you. They might criticize your loved ones, saying things like, "Your friends don't really care about you," or "Your family is toxic." Over time, you might find yourself increasingly isolated, relying solely on the controlling person for support and companionship. Controlling individuals also often use threats and intimidation to maintain their power. They might threaten to leave you, harm themselves, or even hurt you if you don't comply with their demands. Remember, the Zen's wisdom teaches us that we cannot control others, but we can control our own reactions and decisions. By staying grounded in our principles and valuing our own autonomy, we can protect ourselves from the harmful effects of controlling behavior and live more authentic, fulfilling lives. Another unmistakable sign of an evil person is pathological lying. This goes beyond the occasional white lie that most people tell. Pathological liars deceive constantly, often without any apparent reason. They fabricate stories, manipulate facts, and distort reality to suit their own needs or to gain an advantage over others. This behavior can be incredibly damaging to relationships, eroding trust, and creating a web of deceit that's difficult to untangle. The Zens valued truth and integrity above all else. They believed that a virtuous life was grounded in honesty and that deceit was a fundamental betrayal of one's character. Gautama Buddha emphasized living in accordance with nature, which means aligning our actions with truth and reason. When someone lies pathologically, they are living in direct opposition to these principles, creating a false reality that benefits only themselves. Pathological lying can take many forms. It might start with small, seemingly harmless lies, like embellishing a story to make themselves look better or more interesting. Over time, these lies can escalate, covering up mistakes or wrongdoings and manipulating others to achieve their goals. A pathological liar might claim to have accomplished things they haven't, falsely take credit for others' work, or make up stories about their past to gain sympathy or admiration. This constant dishonesty creates a distorted view of reality, where you can never be sure what's true and what's fabricated. Consider how a pathological liar might operate in a workplace. They might lie about their qualifications, exaggerate their contributions to projects, or spread false rumors about colleagues to sabotage them. This can create a toxic environment where trust is undermined and people are constantly on edge, unsure of who to believe. The Zen's wisdom would advise us to remain steadfast in our own integrity, not allowing ourselves to be swayed by the deceitful actions of others. Gautama Buddha taught that we should focus on what we can control, our own thoughts and actions, and not be disturbed by the dishonesty of those around us. In personal relationships, pathological lying can be even more destructive. Imagine being in a relationship with someone who constantly lies about their whereabouts, their past, or their feelings. This behavior can make you feel insecure, anxious, and constantly questioning your own perceptions. You might find yourself doubting your memory or second-guessing your instincts, which is exactly what the liar wants. They thrive on creating confusion and instability, keeping you off balance so they can maintain control. The Zen's teachings would remind us to trust our own judgment and not be swayed by the manipulations of others. Know that true peace comes from within, and that we should not allow the deceit of others to disturb our inner tranquility. One of the most insidious aspects of pathological lying is that it's often difficult to detect at first. Pathological liars can be incredibly convincing, telling their lies with such confidence and detail that it's hard not to believe them. They might mix truth with lies, making it even more challenging to discern what's real. This is where the Zen's principle of vigilance comes into play. We must remain observant and critical, not taking things at face value, but instead seeking the truth through careful consideration and evidence. When you catch someone in a lie, pay attention to how they react. Do they become defensive or aggressive? Do they try to turn the tables and blame you? Or do they offer a plausible explanation that seems to make sense, even if it's just another layer of deceit? A genuine person will admit to their mistakes and strive to correct them, while a pathological liar will double down on their falsehoods, weaving an even more intricate web of lies. The Zen teachings would counsel us to remain calm and rational in the face of such behavior, recognizing it for what it is and not allowing it to provoke us. It's also important to consider the long-term impact of pathological lying. Over time, it can erode the very foundation of trust that any relationship is built upon. Once trust is broken, it's incredibly difficult to rebuild. You might find yourself constantly suspicious, always wondering if you're being lied to again. This can lead to a toxic cycle of mistrust and resentment. The Zen's practice believed in the importance of building strong, honest relationships based on mutual respect and understanding. When dealing with a pathological liar, you must decide whether it's worth trying to rebuild that trust or whether it's healthier to distance yourself from their toxic influence. If you find yourself entangled with a pathological liar, it's crucial to set firm boundaries and protect your own mental and emotional well-being. The Zens would advise us to remain true to our own values and principles, not allowing ourselves to be dragged down by the deceit of others. Be clear about what you will and will not tolerate, and don't be afraid to walk away from a relationship or situation that is built on lies. Remember, your peace of mind and integrity are more important than maintaining a connection with someone who consistently deceives you. How can you protect yourself from these harmful behaviors while maintaining your peace and integrity? Setting boundaries is one of the most crucial skills you can develop when dealing with difficult or toxic people. Boundaries are about defining what you will and will not accept in your relationships, and they are essential for protecting your mental, emotional, and even physical well-being. The Zens, who emphasize the importance of personal integrity and inner peace, would see boundary setting as a fundamental practice for maintaining a virtuous and tranquil life. First and foremost, it's important to recognize that setting boundaries is not about being harsh or unkind. It's about respecting yourself and ensuring that others respect you as well. The Zen's wisdom believed in the importance of self-respect and living in harmony with our true nature. By setting clear boundaries, you're not only protecting yourself, but also fostering healthier interactions with others. When it comes to setting boundaries, clarity is key. You need to be specific about what behaviors you will not tolerate and communicate this clearly and assertively. For example, if you have a friend who frequently belittles you or puts you down, you might say, "I appreciate our friendship, but I won't tolerate being spoken to in a disrespectful manner. If this continues, I will have to distance myself." This approach is direct and leaves no room for misinterpretation. According to Zen's principles, this kind of clear communication helps maintain order and respect in relationships. Another important aspect of setting boundaries is consistency. It's not enough to state your boundaries once and expect others to adhere to them without reminders. You must consistently enforce your boundaries, even when it's uncomfortable or difficult. Epictetus emphasizes the importance of discipline and perseverance. By consistently upholding your boundaries, you demonstrate self-respect and teach others how to treat you. If someone repeatedly crosses your boundaries, it's a clear sign that they do not respect you or your limits, and it may be necessary to reassess the relationship. It's also important to remember that setting boundaries is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process. As relationships evolve, your boundaries may need to be adjusted. For instance, in a work environment, you might need to set boundaries around your availability and workload to prevent burnout. You could say to a colleague or supervisor, "I am happy to help with this project, but I cannot take on additional tasks beyond my current responsibilities." The Zen's teachings would advise us to balance our duties and not overextend ourselves to the detriment of our well-being. One of the most challenging aspects of setting boundaries is dealing with the pushback or resistance you might encounter. People who are used to getting their way, especially those with controlling or manipulative tendencies, may not take kindly to your newfound assertiveness. They might react with anger, guilt-tripping, or even attempts to undermine your confidence. The Stoics teach us to remain calm and steadfast in the face of such challenges. Marcus wrote about the importance of maintaining our composure and not being swayed by the negative emotions of others. When you encounter resistance, stay firm and remind yourself that your boundaries are necessary for your well-being. In some cases, setting boundaries might mean making difficult decisions, such as distancing yourself from certain individuals or even ending relationships that are toxic or harmful. This can be a painful process, but it's essential for preserving your mental and emotional health. Seneca often spoke about the importance of choosing our associations wisely, recognizing that the company we keep can significantly impact our character and happiness. By distancing yourself from those who consistently violate your boundaries, you are making a powerful statement about your self-worth and commitment to living a virtuous life. It's also helpful to seek support from others when setting boundaries. This could mean talking to trusted friends, family members, or a therapist about your experiences and getting their input and encouragement. Sharing your struggles and successes with boundary setting can provide you with valuable perspective and strengthen your resolve. The Stoics valued community and the support of like-minded individuals. Zen's teachings often reflected on the interconnectedness of humanity and the importance of mutual support. By leaning on your support network, you can find the strength to uphold your boundaries and maintain your well-being. In addition, practicing self-care is crucial when setting and maintaining boundaries. This includes taking time for yourself, engaging in activities that bring you joy and relaxation, and nurturing your physical and mental health. The Zens believed in the importance of self-care as a foundation for a virtuous life. Gautama Buddha, for example, emphasized the need to care for our own well-being so that we can be of service to others and fulfill our responsibilities effectively. By prioritizing self-care, You reinforce the message that your well-being is important and deserving of protection. Remember that setting boundaries is a form of self-respect and self-love. It's about recognizing your own value and refusing to allow others to diminish it. The Zen's wisdom teaches us that our worth is not determined by external factors, but by our own actions and integrity. By setting and maintaining boundaries, you are living in accordance with these principles and fostering a life of peace, virtue, and resilience. Remember, your peace and integrity are worth protecting, no matter who tries to undermine them. Setting boundaries is not just a defense mechanism, it's a declaration of your self-worth and commitment to living a virtuous life. Thank you for joining me today and being a part of Be Wiser Today. If you found this helpful, make sure you hit the like button and write this comment saying, "Good will always shine over evil." Stay strong, stay wise, and keep living your truth. May the universe bless you